Do not attempt to adjust your set. This is a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin. It cannot be stopped, and it is the only free voice left on the net.
Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. For today's Skyrim mod showcase on the PS4, we're going to be taking a quick and basic look at a UI overhaul mod ported to PlayStation by Mod Author CegoPorts called SkyUI 5. This is an offshoot of SkyUI that does not require the SKSE in order to function. Those of you that have been with my channel long enough will know that my favorite UI overhaul is and always will be TK's interface overhaul. Several people prefer this one to that, and I say to each their own. However, I decided to uninstall TK and look for an alternative due to the fact that TK now forces a utility mod on us to be able to use that mod, which I do not want in my load order. This is the first mod that, like TK, I've found has custom menus for both items and magic. However, if you are somebody that has trouble with font size, this mod probably is not going to do you any favors. That's because the basic version of it, the font in those menus, is extremely small. It's very hard for me to see it. There is an optional patch to make the font larger, but I had to run a comparison test to see that it was actually working, so that should tell you it's not going to be a very noticeable difference. It is helpful, and it'll be on for the majority of this showcase, but that is something to keep in mind. I'll run a comparison to let you see the difference between it not having the patch versus having it. Now, a couple other things to keep in mind is that while this is called SkyUI 5, so you might think this is the PS5 version, it will work on a PS4. It's not missing any textures or anything, so I do believe it would work for both. I can't test it for the PS5. However, on the PS4, I've encountered the same issue that I've encountered with a lot of these recent ports, where it thinks it's missing files and will not enable. I have to enable it offline. I'll leave a link in the description box down below to a video I did about that. And it's received numerous updates already since its upload yesterday. Every time I update it, it auto-disables and thinks it's missing the files again, and I have to do the same thing, so keep that in mind. With that said, let's see how to find today's showcase mod. So in order to find the mod, you have to head a little further back into the latest category, select view all, otherwise only the patches come up. Main mod is this one right here, or bring up search function with L1 and then type in SkyUI 5, search bar. Main mod should work for both the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. It includes optional patches, one for making the font larger, which is right here, one for what I believe is the Brazilian language, and then finally, I suppose if you're crazy, one to make the font even smaller. I don't believe this is required to reset it if using the larger, as I haven't used it and I've reset it multiple times now in comparison tests. Main two we'll be looking at is these. First one is called SkyUI 5, was ported to PlayStation by Mod Author CegoPorts, and from what I can tell, original credit goes to the SkyUI Team. There is a link to the permissions and a disclaimer that Cego did not create the mod. All credit goes to the original mod author. SkyUI's main features are listed. It does say that it's not dependent on the SKSE. It will have some limited functionality due to the fact you can see the various features listed here. I don't have time to cover them, but please, as always, make certain to read the mod description in its entirety if you're going to choose to download and install this. This is essentially a workable version of SkyUI for Skyrim on SE and AE with some limitations. At the moment, 3 languages of the game are supported, which include English, Russian, Brazilian, Portuguese. Items and spells for which icons are displayed incorrectly may belong to third-party mods, so keep that in mind. There's a list of feature tips included here, which also mention that if you're using the larger font size, that the number of times that you have to click to change through the various fields and stuff is different, so keep that in mind. Also, at the very bottom of this, there is a tutorial for how everything works, so please make certain again to read the mod description in its entirety if you're going to download and install this. For those of you that require or would like to have a larger font for the menus, you can find the patch for it right here. It's called SkyUI Larger Font Add-on. This is under the mod author name CegoPorts_patches. There is nothing listed for the mod author originally credited, so I would assume it's still either SkyUI or perhaps for the PlayStation version this patch was created by Cego himself. I don't know. So the mod is currently active. I do not currently have the larger font size active. That way I can show you what it looks like default using the items category. You'll notice that the print over here on the left hand side is extremely small. I do not like the size of this at all. Now the print on the right hand side option of it though looks fine. You can read this easily enough. But it's that left hand side that is really bothering me. But there is an optional patch for that which will make it a little bit larger. I don't think it really makes it large enough, but I'll go ahead, and the reason I've done it like this is I'm going to set up a comparison test for you guys so you can see exactly by how much larger it makes it. So I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. So I now have the larger font enabled. I have to be honest, when I originally did this, I did not think the patch was working. It wasn't until I ran a comparison test that I noticed that yeah, it did enlarge the font, but it wasn't nearly as big as what I thought it was going to be. The right hand side does not change at all. It is the left that changes, and it is definitely preferable to the standard version of SkyUI, so it is what I'll be using. To navigate these menus, you can press left or right on your directional pad or left analog stick. You'll notice that each category has a custom icon for what it is, and the same can be said for the magic category as well. Within each category, you can change up how items are displayed by pressing R1 or L1. So for example, you can display them by their name, type, weight, or finally value, and that may change depending on the category that you're in. Here you'll notice that the Triforce ring is the most valuable modded item that I have, but in this category, if I press L3, I can then see what items have no value whatsoever. As you can see, I do have several. Hitting L3 again will change it up to display it by the value and weight. Depending on if you have the large font mod installed or not, you might have to hit this more times versus not having it installed. The mod description mentions how many times to hit it in the different categories. Now, as far as the icons go that are listed, the mod description does not tell you what they mean, and so a couple of them I know what they are, but a couple of them I more or less have to guess. For example, the diamond icon included here by the Daedric arrows, not exactly certain what that means. The lightning bolt is for enchanted, and the star icon is for favorited. I thought possibly the diamond meant legendary, as it is by some stuff listed as legendary, but the Daedric arrows are not legendary. These icons on the left hand side show things that are equipped, but you can also sort to show everything that you have equipped by hitting L3. See everything all equipped here together. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, couldn't think of it. Let me find where is... It's not in this, I think it's in the weapons category. Really neat feature this has is right here. So let's say I want to look at this, but I want to look at it full screen. Hit R3, and now you can see it full screen. That is a very nice feature, which I have not seen done before in a UI mod. Really like that. To get out of it, hit R3 again. Now I do believe that only works for the item side. I've tried it over on the magic side and it did not work there. Let's see, where is, so real quick here, enable my compass again. Show you that it does not change up the way that the compass looks in game. You'll see that it's still vanilla. I don't know if this will work with other UI overhauls that change up things of that nature that this mod does not touch. I would assume that it does, but I have not tested it. That will be up to you to test on your own time. Here is how the magic category looks. As you can see, just like with items, it has unique icons. So a star for favorites. And then the different classes have unique icons, so like the alteration tree, for example. I have stars by stuff that I have favorited, just like with items. Coming over here, you can see the various words of power, as well as their times, which are all modded. Speaking of times, if we go to the active effect category, you'll notice that if there is a simple line, that means that the time is infinite. So like the Triforce ring, the experience here is infinite. Oh, something I do want to point out, but I bet I don't have any. I don't play a thief character, so I don't normally have stolen items, but the change that the mod does that I do not like is it removes the words in red for a warning that stolen items are there and puts a hand there instead. Oh yeah, I don't have anything. Ironically enough, I'm going to have to go break into the house behind me to show you that. Let me go ahead and bring up the favorites category now. This is a nice change I really like. So you can list it all here and have everything all like you normally do with the favorites category. But let's say, for example, I had a bunch of stuff in here and I just want to look for weapons. I can do it by gear. Now, of course, the only weapon I have is Dawnbreaker. Aid is, I would think, potions, which I don't have any, that's why there's nothing here. But I think that's what that would be. I do have a couple of spells that are aid, but they would be listed over here in the magic category. Also, if I go back to favorites real quick, the number icons on the right hand side, that's representation for hotkeys. You can see I have 8 because I'm using the mod control. So bring up the map real quick. The color-coded icons that you're seeing on the map are not a part of the showcase mod, but they are fully functional with it. And that includes the color-coded icons by bringing up the local map as well. So just like with TK, they will work. Now, one change that the mod makes that I do not like concerns stolen items or items that you can steal. So while it will still list something as steal from in red, of course that's empty. Oh great, to prove I'm not a thief, I have to break into this house. So because I don't have any stolen items, there should be... yeah, right there. Don't mind me, guys. So, while it will still list something steal from in red, the items themselves will no longer be listed in red. Instead, now they'll have a hand icon by them if they are marked as something that you can steal. So just be careful of that. I wish they would at least put the hand icon in red, but preferably I wish the whole word would have stayed in red. But if you're not playing a thief character and you see a hand icon, then just be careful of that or you'll get a bounty or possibly get attacked. I'll just leave this stuff be because, again, not a thief character. Even though I just broke into these vampires' house. So, that is going to do it for today's showcase mod. Like I said, just a very basic showcase. It was mainly made to let you know about this, to where if you were looking for and was unaware, there is now an alternative to TK's interface overhaul that will have this type of a menu, which is much preferable to the vanilla one. I can't tell you how much. It's been a while since I've used the vanilla menu, and when I went back to it, it wasn't long before I started looking for alternatives because the vanilla menu drove me nuts. So luckily this one got uploaded yesterday. If you're interested in it, download it, give it a try. Remember, you might have some issue with getting it to enable. I'll leave a link to the video that I did about that in the description box. Thank you to the mod author that ported this to PlayStation. Thank you to the original mod author that created it, or mod authors, depending. And thank you guys for taking the time to watch the video. Take care. This has been a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin. Peace out.